Well, quite unfortunate that we have a university management, we have a government parastatals, that are so much poised and determined to subdue the voice of radical dissent. I mean, how do you expect, or how do you imagine students, going peacefully on a media campaign? You get it, and subsequently going into a university just to seek clarification of some issues, and the next thing you have is an unwarranted arrest from the Nigerian police force. Not just arrest, but ridiculous brutalizations. I mean, you need to see the extent of brutalization that were meted on students as if they were criminals. I mean, we are supposed to be in a society of human beings, not in a zoological garden. And I feel even such character should, in fact, should not be tolerated, especially in a democratic dispensation. Well, quite unfortunate too is the fact that aside the obvious demand we are well aware of, as regarding the rustication of about 11 students, which till date the UNILAG management had not even responded to the letters we sent them. We immediately, as at about just 2 days ago, learned that once again they expelled 2 other students. One of them was a blind student, and another one was a graduate already. I mean, how do you rusticate someone who is a graduate on an offense or quote and unquote, of protest? That should tell you that the extent of despotism, in the University of Lagos is notwithstanding of an embarrassing magnitude. It's a university that runs like a prison camp, and and in my view, I think there is a dire need. There is really a dire need to declare a state of emergency on the University of Lagos. You see, we are well aware that the rise of victimization in our universities has gotten to its peak. You get it? But that of the University of Lagos is more ridiculous and very embarrassing, and really it is unprecedented. And for instance, there was a player that was raising something that the University Act, really, we must admit some certain things. The University Act that established most of our universities, were one way or the other structured in the image of the military junta under which they were created, and one way or the other had loopholes that could be exploited by vindictive vice chancellors and management. And I think really it's high time, as Nigerians, as students, as workers, we begin to challenge that university. We are no longer in a military regime. Take for instance an issue at the University of Ibadan, where the vice chancellor, without trial, without no panel, just expelled 2 students. I mean, it was so ridiculous to the extent that one of them on the spot in front of the vice chancellor was in the first instance suspended in front of the vice chancellor, and later he only uttered a comment of appeal. Immediately the suspension was at that same spot. In less than 1 minute, it was changed into expulsion. I mean, how do you explain such barbaric act? So you see, if we consider what is going on in our Nigerian university, you will be forced to conclude that Erdogan's despotism in Turkey, is a child's play compared to what we have in our universities in Nigeria. So and this is going to be a clarion call to Nigerian students, to workers at large, to join us in not only this campaign to demand the immediate and unconditional release of the students that were illegally detained at Kirikiri, but also join in the call to seek reinstatement of now 13 formerly 11 students but now 13 students of the University of Lagos, and end the reign of tyranny in our respective universities.
This is an operation of the arrest order. Why will the member of Nigeria Police Force arrest our students on a cause that is not a just one? Students were arrested not because they went on protest, not because they went to disrupt the activities of the school, not because they disturbed the peace of the society. They were arrested just because they were demanding for their rights. This is injustice of the highest order. That is why I'm here, to investigate the matter and see what we can do to solidarize with our students from our own hand.
In UNILAG, why UNILAG's own appears to be special is because over the past 2 years that this assault on democratic rights of students has been happening, we have had a situation where the platforms of people's struggle, pro-mass organizations, trade unions have not responded adequately as they should. We have had a situation where within the university itself, the staff unions, for different reasons, have not responded to all of this development. There's a climate of silence which is disturbing, because the reality is that with the way the university management is going, today you subjugate a level student, tomorrow you educate a blind student. Yet 2 days ago you climb into prison 18 students who are simply protesting and asking, that those who have been rusticated must be recalled. When a university authority is allowed to continue in that kind of direction, a time will come when members of the teaching and non-teaching staff will also become victims of this kind of despotism, which is why it is important for ASU, SANU, NASU, NAT to begin to voice out against this attack on student rights and demand that the university authority must halt this climate of terror which is imposed on the university. It's also very crucial that the trade unions outside, the NLC, the TUEC, and the ULC respond to this situation, not just in terms of UNILAG, but in terms of beginning to demand that democracy must return back to our campuses. Students must be able to organize according to the Constitution. Students must be able to enjoy the same rights of expression that other people in society can still boast of enjoying. Why should our universities and colleges of education and polytechnics continue to retain the despotic atmosphere that used to be known in the days of military regime? These are the questions that we must pose, to the authorities of UNILAG, and for which we think that the staff unions and trade unions must respond. To round up my presentation, we must also clearly locate the reason for this kind of attack. It is becoming very clear, that the ruling elites are prepared for another round of neoliberal attacks on public education. Already we have seen 2017 proposed budget. It's where less than 10% of that budget is being budgeted for education. In fact, just 50 billion naira is being proposed for capital projects in the education sector. What this means is that the government is expecting that universities and colleges of education and polytechnics management would have to increase fees in order to show up the entire generated revenue. Preparation for this eventuality is what they are doing by these general attacks on student rights. So that for us, we must, as we are fighting against this victimization, also begin to prepare a movement that can fight the government to a standstill, as well as the authorities on campuses, when this liberal attack starts. Because ultimately, our belief that public education can be funded by public resources if there is judicious use of our wealth, and if there is a nationalization of the commanding height of the economy. Ultimately, capitalism is what is responsible for a situation where Nigeria's resources is not being used to provide free education and quality education for all. So that in our struggle as Nigerian students, we must also demand for a different socio-economic order and join the working class and working class movement to build a mass political alternative that can fight to impose and enthrone real change in this country.
Mobile court on a Saturday morning. This is not only despotic, it's even inhuman, to say the least. And they are against them are filed, charges of disorderly conduct, likely to cause the breach of public peace, and other frivolous and trap-up charges. It is meant clearly to continue to reshunt every layer of students that continue to voice out, against the repression and oppression going on in University of Lagos. And we want to call on the governor of Lagos State and the Attorney General of Lagos State, which is the prosecutor of that mobile court, to forthwith tomorrow morning summon all those 18 students from Kirikiri prison custody and withdraw all those trumped up and frivolous charges that are filed against them. This is not only a slap on the 18 students in particular, but the entire Nigerian students and democratic rights of the Nigerian masses and even of the working people everywhere. We call for the boldest, mass action to be organized as from tomorrow morning against this despotic, inhuman, savage attack on democratic rights. We also calling on Nigerian students everywhere on different campuses to continue to organize solidarity mass action as from tomorrow morning until April 6th, which is the next adjourned date for their matter, as we continue in rolling mass mobilization against this savage attack on democratic rights in our country. It's as if we are now on the hasty run to Banana Republic, where anybody can just be picked on the streets and thrown into jail for no just cause. This is barbaric, this is despotic, this is inhuman and animalistic. And and in fact, the president of the country should be called to question, and even the Minister of Education, as to where they put their minds, on the level and the rate of victimization going on different campuses across the country. How can we explain that as we speak, different campuses are already, enthroning a regime of terror on their campuses? And Mr. President is sitting, and the Minister of Education also sitting somewhere comfortably and to answer that we are in a democratic state. In fact, we are on the clear road to either Turkey or even the nearest state where there are no democratic rights at all. On this note, we say Aluta Continua, Victoria Asata. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights. Only there is victory for us. There is victory. Never backward, never. Another challenge, double challenge.